Hola, high fashion doll lovers. My name is Christopher E. Bienvenidos to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing my thoughts on the Barbie movie, which I watched recently. We're not going to put a timestamp on that. As well as I will be discussing, showing, and playing with the merchandise I got at the AMC Theater. But before we get into today's video, if you are new around these parts, hello, please consider hitting the subscribe button so you, yes you, can get notified whenever I upload a video related to dolls, fashion, and everything in between. Now, let's get into today's video, shall we? Okay, so I want to share my thoughts on the movie first, just because I am not a movie critic. So if you were here on some like in-depth, real nitty-gritty critic movie thing, you hit the wrong channel or video. Honestly, you're not focused more on toys. So the focus of this video is mostly the product that I got at the movie theaters. But I felt like I couldn't do this video without sharing my thoughts on the movie as well. So let's start there. I think my first comment is I need to watch it again. I ironically, or maybe not ironically, went into the movie with like a business mindset. So I almost couldn't see the movie without thinking of business opportunities. And as someone who purchases dolls and plays with fashion, I kept on looking at the movie and I was like, that could have been a fashion pack. That should be a fashion pack. Why didn't I get that one? And a lot of that thought comes from the fact that we have been seeing so many dolls for this movie be released. And something that I have seen from someone else in the YouTube community and within the doll community when it comes to movies is it gets a little tiring to see the same character be produced as a doll with a different fashion, especially when the concept of a fashion doll is fashion. You know, to have so many of the same thing gets very overwhelming and unnecessary and takes up a lot of space. I would love to get back to the core of the fact that we get a fashion doll and we get to get fashion for that doll. And in this movie in particular, you know, the character is one character and she wears a lot of different things. I don't understand why we're getting so many different dolls in so many different things when her hair doesn't really change that drastically. And did you notice how I started saying that I was going to talk about the movie and I ended up talking about products? Yeah, that's kind of what happened while I was watching the movie. But what I will say is I got two takeaways that I want to share about the movie without giving too much away of the movie is, my first takeaway is current. The movie feels like a very big I am sorry to today's woman that was a child playing with the doll when the doll was being so heavily scrutinized. And I watched the press junket with Margot and Greta, and a lot of the things that they were saying about the movie without trying to say too much make a lot of sense now after watching it. You know, they definitely focused on the good, the bad, the ugly, and they head into it head on, and I really appreciate it. I am someone who grew up heavily around women and women only. So as I left the movie theater, I remember that girl. I remember the pressure that that girl was put on. And for the little boys out there like myself that played with the dolls, I think there was this other reminder of remember to continue to be supportive. You know, we've always looked at this female toy as something that we can create with and we can support and we can experience something that is somewhat of a fantasy. And I think for me, it helps me remember to continue that role in my life with the women around me, because there's so many more things we could say about roles and things of that nature. But I do feel that the movie chose to heavily focus on apologizing to today's woman for the amount of maybe over aspirational thoughts and pressures that this toy that someone created might have put on them. There's another heavy theme on really appreciating everyone around you and not overlooking someone because you're so stuck on being aspirational. Remember that in life you need balance and you can aspire without forgetting. Remember that, okay? The end of the movie was weird, but as I was just thinking about filming this video and saying that, I was like, oh, well, now that I thought it, the end of the movie makes sense. But I suggest you watch it. I believe it is important for everyone to have their own opinion. We live in a world where a lot of people are sharing their thoughts, and I encourage people to make their own opinions with their own experience. So I can hopefully share something that inspires you to maybe want to go see it for yourself that you might have not. But I definitely support and think it's important for everyone to have their own opinion, especially with this movie. In particular. Okay? So, those are my feelings on the movie. I told you they weren't going to be long, I promise, because, well, I'm not a movie critic. Now, let's focus on my merchandise, because that, ladies and gentlemen, might have been the real reason I went. Well, it's the reason why I went so early. I was going to see the movie eventually, but I usually don't ever go to the movies this early. I did it for the merch this time. I went to see Little Mermaid when it first came out, but I did it a few years later. And through that experience, I learned that AMC has like customized popcorn containers. I didn't know that until like The Little Mermaid. Like I didn't know this was a thing. And now you might have me going to the movies more often because I think this is amazingly cool. So, enough talking-ish. Let's get into the first product that I received, shall we? So, the first product that I received, or first merch that I received, I'm going to insert the ad right over here. You see it? So I didn't know this was a thing. I've been overly obsessively following, yep, that's correct, one particular Instagram account that has been kind of like sharing everything Barbie related. And I was like, okay, but what are we getting in the United States? I'm seeing what other countries are getting at the movie theaters, but what are we getting? I have not seen this at all. I'm over here like, if it's probably still there. I'll try to insert it again. I think I learned about this when I was purchasing my tickets. And I purchased my tickets super last minute. Because as, you know, for those that have subscribed to my channel, I've probably noticed I've been heavily focused on the Curated event by Integrity Toys. And I decided that had to come first and this came second. So as soon as that was over, I was able to get my ticket. So, bought my tickets kind of super last minute, and when I bought the ticket, I discovered this. Now, here's the thing. I was thinking like I'll get that at the movie theaters because I first bought my tickets with Fandango. Then life happens, and I was able to purchase earlier tickets than my original tickets, and I got the second set of tickets through the AMC website. Now through the AMC website, I was able to add this to my ticket. And you're probably wondering why you're pointing out a photo and where's the product. It is right here. Let me just tell you that this little floaty really reminded me that I don't have the best lungs in the world, okay? This was a lot to blow up. And I had to do it on my own. You know, it was handed to me, folded in plastic. But, little tidbit, I was able to kind of pre-order it with my ticket at AMC, but through another third party you can't. So there's a lot of benefits. That's the thing. There's a lot of benefits when you purchase AMC tickets directly through AMC, especially when you're like focused on merch like I was. So I purchased this one. I was able to select if I wanted the blue or the pink. I wanted the blue. I'm not that happy on pink anyways. So I went for the blue. This was merch number 1. Now, the second merch that I was heavily interested in was this one. Now, originally on the website, I had seen that it had mentioned the popcorn car, because it is a popcorn container by itself, and it was like $34.99, and it kept on saying coming soon. And I had already seen somewhere that AMC in the States was going to have the car, so I was ready. Okay, I was ready. I was specifically ready because I wasn't able to purchase the car that was released. And I really wanted the car, but due to the fact that I was not that heavy on the first wave of dolls, the second wave has some more people that I'm interested in. I'll say it that way. Because I was preparing for the Integrity Toys event, I just kind of let it go. So when I found out the AMC was going to have their popcorn container be a car, I was like, I'm going to get that car. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the car, and we're going to see how compatible the car is not only with Barbie, but also with Integrity Toys, because again, if you are an OG subscriber, you know that I play mostly with Integrity Toy dolls, so the car needs to fit them. Okay? So, I'm gonna go ahead, get those items, because I have them put aside. We're gonna come back and we're going to look at the car and the Barbie, because I got the set. Another note, I asked at the theater if I could get the car alone separately, and I was told no. So when I went on Thursday the 20th, I was trying to be bright and early. When I went on Thursday, it was only the set, so I wasn't able to break it up, which I thought was interesting because again, the website mentions the car by itself, but nonetheless, I'm happy to get the set because as you just heard me say, I didn't purchase any of the dolls, so I didn't mind getting the doll as well. So let me go ahead and get those and let's talk about them. And here they are. I left the floaty up here because, well, I got 3 things. So I'm gonna first start with the Barbie. She is still in her box. I'm gonna unbox her off camera in a few minutes so we can see how she fits in the car. So we have the, if I'm not mistaken, I call her the Perfect Day Barbie, but I know the fabric has a name that currently is skipping my mind, so don't judge me. This was the first Barbie that was introduced from the movie, and I believe she was $24.99, if I'm not mistaken. And then the other dolls were $49.99. I know that because I was just at Target today and I saw the Western Barbie, and she was $49.99. Anyways, yes, that seems about right. So we will be looking at her out of the box, and I mean, it won't be my channel if I don't try this on someone else. So yeah, I'll be showing you what it looks like on someone else. So let me put her aside, and now for the main attraction of this video, for the main attraction of me attending the movie, the car. I love that the car is a deeper shade of pink than the one that was released earlier from Mattel, which was a lighter set of pink. I did read today on Instagram, ironically enough, the steering wheel over here does not turn, and to be very careful because it could pop up really easily. I chose not to have my popcorn served to me in the car because I didn't want it to get oily, so I didn't technically use it for what they intended because, well, I had other intentions. As you can see, the wheels do move. This one does not have a trunk that opens. It says Barbie the movie in the bottom, right like so. The inside of the car is a lighter pink. And yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how she fits. Obviously, I know that I can only get a doll in the first row. There's not enough room. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because I don't have a viewfinder, but there's not enough room back here for another doll. So I don't even know why they gave me 2 seats. But now that I think about it, I could put luggages back here. It could be a 5. Well, first let's see who fits, okay? That is first and foremost. So yeah. Oh wait, I forgot to acknowledge that it has a little mirror there. Nothing reflective, but for the price, which technically, I think the car alone is $34.99. I don't mind it not having super crazy details because I feel like the amount of details that it does have is amazing. Oh, did I disregard the front and the back? Oh, that was important. Okay, so let me go ahead and take her out of the box off camera, and let's see how well she looks inside of the car. Okay, Barbie is out of her box. I did keep the rubber bands around the necklace and the shoes because, you know, we're about to test a lot of things. I have to say that I'm not that experienced with these new, like, more posable bodies, so you can always find me being like, what am I doing? Is she gonna break? Because I'm used to other dolls, obviously. I kept the floaty out here because I wanted to see what she would look like on the floaty also. So, let's try that now, Barbie, shall we? Oh, maybe not like that. You know, I feel like in this video is the first time you've actually probably seen me play with toys on it. So here she is on the floaty. You see that? Do you like it? It's cute. It's a vibe. Great scale. And now, The moment we've all been waiting for, or the moment I've been waiting for. I hope you've been waiting for it too. The question is, does she fit in the car? Oh, maybe I should try to like have the legs a little more straight. Well, it appears that the answer to that question is yes. The scale is a lot tinier. And yeah, I don't know if it's gonna fit a second person. That was like really off camera, but that was me. Oh god, that's a lot of hair. The box hair is a thing, but whatever, we won't get into that. Yeah, the scale is a little interesting. I don't know how I feel about it, but she does fit. She can definitely drive off. And I say the scale because I know that the $74 car that fits 4 dolls seems a little bit more on scale. Let me explain that a little better. I know I'm saying a lot of scales. We were like, what is he talking about? This feels like a human person in a toy car, while the $74 car looks like a human person in a human car. And when you cut toys and you want them to be correct on scale, you want the toy to look like it's in a car that it fits, not in a car that it's kind of pouring out of. So that is what I'm trying to say, where I think this is super cute. I think it would be a great centerpiece. But if you're actually trying to use the car, I don't know. Now, we're also going to, because I just said all that, put her next to the car. Oh, darn. How can I do this? Because I know the camera. Point is, like, if she was standing next to it, the car is like super low. So it's almost like she's getting in a car at a carnival instead of a car that she's driving. So I'm gonna need to let this process. I don't really know how I feel about it. But anyways, I think what I'm gonna do now is I will undress her because I do plan on using this dress on someone else. I'll briefly go over the details like I normally do in my reselling videos. So we can look at those a little bit more closely and really digest them. And, you know, then I'll end with a new model in the look, you know, like a normal fashion show as I normally do in my videos. So let me prepare myself. Okay, so obviously very simple outfit. It is inspired by the look that she wears in the movie and that we've all seen in the trailer. I will say this is obviously the budget doll, so this is the budget look. As you could see in the trailer, this dress had like a lot of petticoats underneath, which this one does not, but it has some beautiful pleats to kind of create that flare look. Obviously from the box, it's a little folded. This fabric feels like a tablecloth. It's very stiff and plasticky. Let me just leave it at that. I did find it very interesting though that she had actual underwear. She does have the printed underwear, which I feel like is something we've been seeing a lot from Barbie in quite a long time. So I did find it interesting that she had fabric underwear because she still had her, what I'm going to call trademark underwear. She over here has a pair of pink pumps, which also are a replica of the pumps that we see in the trailer where she's being asked to stay or to go. Those aren't the words, but you know what I'm saying. And then also over here, we have the jewelry that she's wearing. I obviously only took off the necklace and the bracelet. There is a little bit of pink detail on both. Appreciate that. And while we're at it, let's take a look at the doll herself a little bit more closely. Okay, here she is. Honestly, in my hands, sorry if that was like very aggressive, honestly. She's really a beautiful sculpt. I remember that when we saw her online, we were like, what? In the beginning. But the photo was just a bad angle. Even dolls need good angle. Who would have thought? I obviously chose not to take out the earrings. I don't know if you can. Oh, well, try that on camera. There you go. Earrings are removable. And I left the bow in her hair. As you can see, it has a little, not my hangnail. It has one of those little plastic things, and I forgot what they're called. I didn't feel the need to take the bow out, so just left it. But yeah, she's actually pretty She's very pretty, very pretty. The hair quality, as you cannot tell, is not the greatest. It's also a very light reroot, but the box hair is not that great. So I completely understand why a lot of people got this doll and started to reroot her. That makes a lot of sense. But now, on to my favorite part of my channels. Let's see how this outfit looks on someone completely different. Shall we?